She can't say anything until she comes back.
We are live.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, everyone. I'm going to do a quick little countdown in order to give me time to share the show to the WFLE network.
Fling, fling.
In just the right amount of time this time.
For who? Not for me.
Not for you. For me, it
It
was.
was like, because I'm trying to share it to 2 pages.
Oh, well,
We just have to sort of remind people throughout the show that, you know what, we don't always see their comments in the comment section. Hey, Debbie. Hey, Sharon. Because they might be on a place that we're just sharing, so we don't get to see it. So if they really want to, have a comment in the thing in a live show, go to our YouTube channel, and then you can chit chat with us all you want.
Exactly. So we have an unbelievably exciting guest in a show tonight. I've been really looking forward to it. And this show has inspired me, Mama. We're going to start doing something.
Uh-oh. Okay? Damn. She's got me working now.
Yep.
Athena, what have you started?
We are going to do a crystal of the week. So we're going to, every show.
I have some nice crystal cards.
Right? We're gonna pull a crystal. We're gonna talk about that crystal just briefly, And tonight I want to like dedicate it to the black obsidian. And according to Athena, who our guest is, black obsidian sends negative energy back to people. It's a protection stone, protects you from energy vampires, and it's associated with your root chakra. We're going to talk more about that, but I wear this when I go on paranormal investigations because I know it's a protection thing as well as all my others. But we'll talk about those too. So, are we curious about Athena? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So do we want to find out more
what you got to do? You know what you got to do? Play the video. I need to know. People need to know.
Good evening, I am Gina B here with Mama D every Thursday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here in the Fox Den. Tonight we have Athena Bahri. She is the founder and creator of Crystal Reiki Healer, one of the fastest growing online presences for crystal and chakra education and crystal Reiki healing. Hailing from a Hollywood dynasty, the niece of Rita Hayworth, and the cousin of Ginger Rogers and Donna Reed, Athena had a career as a successful actress as Athena Cancino before leaving her life of glamour and paparazzi to create a life of peace and energy healing. Today, she is a certified Reiki master, crystal Reiki master, and chakra healer, leading retreats, clinics, and workshops. Today we will be discussing her book, Raise Your Vibes, and we welcome you to the Fox Den, Athena.
Hi.
Hey, I just have to say, your lineage of amazing women. I was like, Rita Hayworth, oh my God. He's like, oh. When Gina first showed it to me, I was like, ooh.
Oh, thank you. That beautiful intro. I know you showed it to me yesterday, but it was lovely seeing it today too. So thank you so much for that. That was lovely.
Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. So we have a lot that we're going to find out about you tonight. And so since Mama brought that part up, what's it like being all of that Hollywood dynasty?
It's always kind of funny when people ask me about it because I don't know, it's one of those things that, when you grow up with it, it's not.
It's nothing fancy. It's just like, it's my family, whatever. Yeah.
It's like if you grow up in a family of doctors, or you grow up in a family of lawyers, it's like, it's just kind of par for the course. I mean, maybe we're a little bit louder, a little. We all have that booming, voice. And, we're all creative, but it was just kind of like, that was what we did. We were all dancing, we were singing, we were acting, it was just kind of what we did. So Christmas time, the carols was always like a lot of fun.
I bet.
Yeah. And we all grew up like, doing, theater on stage and, doing the school plays and things like that. And the stage fright is not any different, which is,
no.
I mean, I remember having moments like of getting very sick, before having to go on to doing like a commercial or a show or even an audition. Sometimes I would make myself so worked up, and she would do the same, actually, even though she was the Rita Hayworth, she was this beautiful Hollywood legend. She had dealt with a lot of insecurity and a lot of the same issues that many of us do, arguments with the family, daddy issues, all that stuff. So
of course
I think a lot of people look and go, oh my God, Rita Hayworth, oh my God, Ginger Waters. They're like, and they forget that what you see on screen, behind the screen, it's not the same thing. It's like everybody else. It's like, oh my God, it's Gina. She does it. This is it. But yeah, the girl sleeps with a vacuum because she's petrified of spiders. Like, I keep putting that one out there. I'm sorry, I can't help it. But she's just normal, just like everybody else.
I literally scream for my children when there's a spider. Somebody come help me. And they come in, it's like this little itty bitty thing. They're like, Mom.
Oh Lord, you people.
Yeah, well, I had called for just a quick little side note here. I called for Bob one time to get a spider on the ceiling because he's taller than me, and our ceilings are really, really tall. So here he is. Okay, I'm telling you a story, Bob. You're gonna hate me, but he had just gotten out of the shower, so he just had a towel on, and he's going to get it. Now it's a kind of a bigger black spider, and it's on the ceiling. It jumps off the ceiling towards him. So of course he jumps because the towel falls. I was dying. I was laughing so hard. I couldn't.
That was the last time he ever went for a spider for you.
He's like, let me put my pants on.
Oh, that's amazing.
So see, here we go. So you never know what's going to happen in the fox den, but I'm going to reel us in a little bit here. Your book here, Raise Your Vibes. All right, I have it in PDF. Sometimes I like having PDF. Sometimes I don't. This time I don't. I'm going to order your book because I really need to have this.
Same here.
Oh, thank you. Or you can send me your address. I'm happy to send you a copy. Oh, you're printing it out. Like, oh, you're so sweet.
I did. I was like, this. All right, I need this. I want this. I need this. I want this. And I'm like, I could print the whole book. And I'm like, I just need the book. I really need the book because
it is a really good reference. Like, it's really nice, and because the book jumps around, like you can skip forward to different sections. It doesn't read like linear, start to finish. You can jump around. So yeah, having that, I can see how having the physical copy is probably
it makes it
more useful.
It makes it easier. Like I'm the same way. It makes it easier. Except I'm in Canada, so like shipping for me from the States is like we had a guest a while back. She shipped it. It took like forever to get here, and they went bing, 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 bing. It's like okay, fine.
Yeah, the customs right now during COVID.
Forget COVID. I always say that they just be like, oh wait, Mama D's getting stuff. Let me see what she's reading this week. Because sometimes it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I had a follower that lives in Canada, and she had ordered it, and she reached out to me like, "Hey, where's my book?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know. Where did you order it from?" Like I'm not the one who sends it out. Well, it's Amazon. I was like, "Oh, well, then you can go on Amazon and just, if you look in your orders, you should be able to see it. They'll give you tracking, and if they messed up, they'll
replace it."
She was like, "Oh, okay, that's how I do it." I'm like, "Well, yeah, like that's, it's funny. Like, I wrote it and it was, such a blessing to do, but I didn't publish it myself. I don't actually.
You don't have, no, sometimes people think I like that because Gina's got a really good friend, Joni, and she's got like a bajillion books out there. Okay. And I'd be like, I like that book. I mean, I have to go shopping, Canadian, and I'm like, can't if I can see. We have a guest coming on in a couple of weeks, and I always go, okay, if the book is in my price range, I'll order it. Sometimes it's nowhere. The I can get the audio book, but I don't like audio. I want to
Yeah.
have the book.
Yeah.
So so if I go on and it's there and I can get it and it's in my budget, because I give myself a budget, otherwise I'm really toast. Because I got like over 40 decks of cards back there, and it's like it's a good thing my husband doesn't come into his office often. Between the books and the cards, he'd be like,
more than 40 decks of cards. Let me
That's
just
a
say.
good idea, though. It's like I'm like that with crystals. It's kind of,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's a healthy addiction at least, right? But it's definitely like it definitely adds up. So yeah, I mean, my excuse is I use it for work. So of course,
Right. Well, it would be a write-off for you. But again, though, the book is the way you wrote it. It's not like a lot of other books. I have some books in here that's all about the Sanskrit and the this and the that and the you if you haven't studied for years, you have no idea what the hell's going on in it. Mm-hmm. Your book is perfect for people that want to know about Reiki, that people that want to know about crystals, about numbers, feathers, the signs from spirits. You have a lot of things in here that is really perfect and perfect for anyone. Bob says he's like,
that was the goal. So thank you so much. That was really the intention there, that anybody could.
Bob is like, I like my fishing poles. Okay.
Yeah, he spends some money on fishing stuff. Yeah. But it's funny. But the book, though, it really is. It's like that. So if you get this book, which everybody should get this book. Like we talked about Joni. Joni has oh gosh. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I can't think of the name of the book. But it's a book that tells all about paranormal and metaphysical and things like that. It just gives you a rundown of what everything is, right? That's kind of like, that's what this book is. This is the book that everyone needs to have. And then you get this book, you can do things for yourself, for your family, for your children. Everything is in here. And then if you decide to continue, it's the perfect stepping stone.
And just by looking at the PDF, because I also have the PDF, just by looking at the what's it called? Telling you which the index. Thank you very much. It's been a rough week of work. Sorry, guys. But just you sit there and go, okay, I want to learn more about crystals. Oh, okay, well, I'm going to go to page 66. Whether you have it in hand or whether you have it on an e-reader, when you look at the index, you get to see what sort of grabs your attention, and it makes you want to go back and read the whole flipping thing, because it just sort of puts read it in separates and then you bring it together.
Yes, definitely. Well, because then there's also parts like in each chapter, like in the in the angel chapter or in the crystal chapter, I'll reference other parts too, and how you can bring these tools together.
Yep.
So then it's like, oh wait, she's talking about an angel crystal here. Wait, let me go back and check out the stuff about the angels. How do I connect with angels? And a lot of these were, subjects that everybody, I guess not everybody, but everybody that I, had rapport with were curious about. They wanted to know, like, what are these two? Like, what do we want to learn about? Okay, well, you want to learn about manifesting? Cool, I got you covered. Let's and it's true. It's a nice intro, but it makes it, I wanted to make it simple because, like you had said, not everybody is so well versed in everything, and if you are, that's awesome, but even if you are, like, this is just kind of like one of those great, like, quick references. I mean, I wrote it and I'm still using it as a reference.
But you can be a Reiki master and still not have all the knowledge of all the crystals.
Nobody can.
So you're combining both here, which is fabulous in and of itself. I use crystals. I got all kinds of stuff on here tonight. I use crystals because I'm in paranormal investigating. I get in to protect us from EMF, and we suggest these crystals for people for all kinds of things, for healing and everything else. I've never seen a book, and I have lots of them, that combine the Reiki with the crystal healing the way that you have. So all right, so let's
glad you found that useful. That's awesome. I love that. Thank you.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
It's probably not quick, but you know what I mean.
Well,
In your family, you have a lot of actresses and you have like I said, Hollywood lineage. What did they think when you started becoming a Reiki master and writing your book and going into the metaphysical side of life?
Well, my mom was
Oh, that
super into
started.
it. A lot of them were kind of like, "You're gonna do what? What?" It's a they
I've
like.
heard
I
that phrase
still
before.
have siblings that are that Reiki. What's
I
Reiki?
know. Oh my God, that bugs me like crazy. But yeah.
Like Reiki, yeah, it's okay. I'm like, yeah, it's energy healing. They're like, it's what? And so there were a lot of questions like that, but it was never oh, what are you doing? I mean, there was a
Mhm.
little bit of like, Athena's gone off the deep end. Like, oh, she's become a hippie. My kids kind of laugh at me like, Mom, you're such a hippie mom now. But they like it. They're like, but you're so much calmer. And you're so
Yes.
softer now. And it's so cool. I mean, you're kind of hippie, but you're cool.
You're cool hippie. Yes, exactly.
So,
Yeah, you
I
did
mean,
cool, Mom.
definitely calmed down,
Mhm.
being I also am the oldest of 7, so we always had
Mhm.
loud,
Mhm.
my house growing up was like, it was like a children's zoo, I mean, it was always somebody laughing, somebody crying, somebody fighting, it was
Mhm.
just, always something going on. I don't know how I ever had a phone conversation in that house. I swear, I went back to visit and I couldn't hear myself talking. I'm like, and I would spend hours on the phone as a kid. I'm like, how
It was a different kind of phone back in the day.
well, you just tuned everything
Yeah,
out.
exactly. It was
You had like
you
But
this.
you were
figured out what was
tethered.
more
But you were,
important.
yeah, you were tethered to a cord though, so you could only go so far.
That's true. That's true. So I would pull it around and like hide
Into
myself
the
in my
bathroom or
closet
into the
or
one.
something. Right? Totally. So now my husband, it's so funny because I clearly have carried this over because when I'm focused on something, whether it's especially when I'm writing, because I'm so when you're using that creative part of your brain, it's just I get really, really tuned in. Likewise, if I'm doing a Reiki session, I am so like in this zone. And my husband will talk to me or something, not during a Reiki session, but like while I'm writing
Yeah.
and just nothing. Like
It's like,
it doesn't
boom. Yep.
even, it's like whoosh. And are you kidding? Like I've been talking to you for like 3 minutes. I'm like, I'm sorry. Well, you see, I'm writing,
Yeah,
like,
you should know me by now.
Yep.
I can't talk right now. He's like, okay, all right. And my kids kind of do that. And then I noticed my kids doing that to me. And I was like, oh my goodness.
Ooh,
I'm
I
like,
know how
okay,
that feels. Yeah.
great. They're going into the zone. But at the
Mhm.
same time, it's like, wait, hold on. Hey, I'm the mom. You have to listen.
Yep. Yep.
So yeah, the family was very, very accepting. My mom was super spiritual growing up. So, and my grandmother, who I lived with for about 5 years, she was super spiritual too. I have kind of an eclectic religious background. My dad grew up a Catholic. His mom, my grandmother, the one that I lived with, grew up Jehovah Witness,
Ooh.
and then went into into the is it Jehovah Witness, Lutheran? I don't know. It was like one of these. I'm sorry, I'm not very good with this
Yeah,
stuff.
and
She was the one selling the Bibles during the Great Depression. She was the one. They had no money, and she was selling Bibles, and she sold them. Let me tell you. And then my mom's side, they were Scientologists. So
oh my God, you have the gambit.
yeah, so Scientologists are really
Are they still Scientologists?
no.
Hard
My
to get out of.
my family in Florida, they moved to Clearwater, which is kind of like the big hub in America. So I still have family that is there, and they're still, very much, in that life. But we're able to have, a relationship because I live all the way over here, so in Los Angeles. So that's fine. And it's never been like a question or an issue, but I had very different, upbringings. And then
Mhm.
when
And then you bring this into the mix.
yes, I mean, so I started Reiki. because why not? And then my grandmother lost my grandfather when she was very young. He was only 54 and she was only 50 when he passed. And he was absolutely, love of her life, like no mistaking, even as a kid. And I didn't get to meet him in person, I guess we would say, met him later, but in person we didn't get to meet. And she always talked about how much she loved him and how she would get visits from him. And part of the family thought she's just nuts. She's a grieving widow. She's making things up in her head. She wants him so bad. She wants to believe so bad. She's manifesting this in her mind. But I kind of grew up like, really, Grandma? Like, cool. And how was this? And how was that? And asking questions as kids do. Yeah. And so I always had this kind of open mind about what could be real, and that there's just more beyond here, this plane. And so Reiki is so beautiful in that way because it works across time and space as well. So
go on with that because you saw.
Yes. So it's, that connection was really not as far-fetched as maybe it was initially thought. So we're waving.
And we are waving to people as they come into the chat.
Oh, how fun. Hi, guys.
Hi, ladies. Hi, Dave. So when we do this, it's just wave, smile and nod. Hi.
Hey, look, I get in trouble for doing that, on one show. So I just,
she does that, and I go, "What do you want?"
If I have something to say, I sit there and go.
I'm like, did you lose my picture? Am I not here anymore?
It's like, you want me to do one?
Yeah. No, but you did see a spirit. So you did.
I have. Yes, I have. And the first time was not so much fun. The first time was really, really scary and kind of traumatic, and really closed that door, I guess you would say, is a kind of a way to, I mean, I literally closed the door, but I kind of closed that, part. And then when I started going into Reiki and energy healing and kind of branching out to these, without sounding like a complete weirdo, but branching out to these like different like planes, like different dimensions.
You're part of the weirdo crew here.
You're home.
Home. Yeah. I can talk like this, right?
If anybody has any issues with it, that Gina and I, we got you back.
Thank you. So yes, when I went into Reiki and started, kind of being just more aware, I guess, of other energies and feeling those spirits and feeling these things, and then sight started to happen, but it wasn't scary anymore, which is interesting. So that was cool. That was a like yay bonus for that. And then I started doing Reiki sessions, and I would start getting, and this is actually fairly recent, or I probably would have put it in the book too, because I was putting as much stuff in that book as I could. Like, how much can I cram into like, there's so much, So after that, though, like I started doing during my sessions, I would start. I don't know even how to explain it. It's almost like hearing a voice, but it's not like someone next to me. It's almost like a message in my head. And I, started questioning like, oh my gosh, like what?
You think you're going crazy?
Hey,
I thought I was going crazy.
I was like, I'm starting to lose it. Like, that's it. Where's my obsidian? I need to ground. Like, give me my hematite. Yes. And then I thought, you know what? It's not going away. So, look at that. Yeah, I've got my hematite in here too.
That's my hematite.
Yay.
Got my amethyst on.
Yes, my amethyst. I got some smoky quartz going on here.
We all blinged up tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
We're all blinged up in our my clear quartz.
Clear crystal. Yep, clear quartz. Then I have all my things next to me.
Yes. Oh my! I just got this beauty too, labradorite.
Oh, and it's a heart. Oh my God, that's beautiful.
I
love that shimmer.
Oh, it's so amazing. I don't know which side is more bright. It's hard that is kind of messing it up. But
the other side looks. Oh my God,
amazing. I mean, it's just such a gift. This was a gift from Rock Paradise. when I went to do the book signing in their shop on this past Sunday.
Oh, nice.
This was one of this is the gift they gave me as a thank you for coming.
What a nice gift. Well, you're not going to get anything out of the fox, then maybe a fox.
Oh,
You got us.
A foo-foo fox.
Wait a minute. She may not like the idea of having us forever.
I love the little foxes and butterflies. I don't know if you saw it. Put a post up on my own Instagram page, and I had the little foxes at the top and the bottom with butterflies flying around.
Oh, nice.
So cute. Oh, I have to send it to you so you can see it.
Yes, please.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I hope we get a lot more people, like watching on the YouTube and such, like your people, if they do come in here,
I hope they tune in.
Me too. I don't see anybody on, if they're watching on YouTube, you can comment just if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're listening to the audio version of this show, which will be tomorrow and onward, actually. But if you're listening, go to our YouTube channel because you want to see her beautiful face. Athena is gorgeous, and she's showing this fabulous crystal. And go to our YouTube channel, The Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D. Subscribe.
Hearing us is one thing, but seeing us and seeing the things that I mean,
it does. It changes.
Gina and I are old hat.
You see that expression. Oh, you're so sweet. You ladies are so lovely. I'm just gonna stay here.
Okay.
You can have it home. Yeah, you fit right in. You do fit right in.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. But now, so reeling us back in again.
So yes. So then I just thought, well, you know what? I'm gonna have to just start sharing these messages because I'm kind of making myself nuts, and it's not a message for me anyway. So, you know what? I'm just going to take that leap of faith and go ahead and let them know and see what happens. And you know what? If they think I'm crazy, that's cool. That's all right. And
absolutely not.
Let me tell you, the feedback that I have gotten since I started sharing that has been so incredible for them, not even necessarily for me. For me, it's great because I have that validation that I'm not, crazy. But for them, it's so great because they're getting these messages from, people who have passed. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that's emotional. And then sometimes it's just been like, oh my gosh, how did you know?
Chris George, he's my old co-host. He's a psychic medium. He lives in Staten Island. Now he's out on Long Island. But he's an unbelievable psychic. Channeler, medium, So.
And he's her Pookie.
It's a Pookie. Yes, I call him Pookie. But he's my brother. He's like my little brother.
You call him Pookie?
Yeah, because he's like my little brother.
My mom called me when I was little. That was my nickname.
Oh, it's a family thing. People always used to say, was there something going on between you? Just like, no.
Oh my gosh, my mom's going to laugh.
Yeah, so that's my Pooks. He's actually going to be doing some readings at 9:00. I can't believe he's doing that tonight on me, but he's doing some readings on his.
He does that. He just likes to give us a jump.
Oh, that's nice. I love that.
Yeah.
So it's so cool when you have that gift and you can pop in and share that. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yes, it is. It is really great. So now let's talk more about just for people that might not know what Reiki is.
Sure.
So go to
Mama D is like, what? How do you
what? What is it? Nova? What did you say earlier? Reiki? God, it drives Christ.
We want
Nails on chalkboard.
I know. We want to invite new people in that might not know about.
Absolutely. Reiki. I love it. And the more we can share this beautiful.
I like this comment. Hold on, I got to get this one up here. This is from Nadine in our YouTube. Athena, your book is like a Bible for me. It helps me with this journey, discovering the universe.
It is. That's it. It's the Bible.
You were such a love. Thank you. It was so good seeing you Sunday too. Thank you for coming out. Oh my gosh. Mwah, mwah. So much love. Beautiful.
Oh, that's beautiful. And hi, Colette. Colette just joined us. How you doing? So yeah, it is. That's what I was saying earlier, that, this is the book that everyone needs to have. And whether you want to be into Reiki or not, it's still a good self-healing, self-meditate, to meditate, the various parts of the body, where your chakras are, what sounds go with what, area. The book is everything. Where can we buy the book? That's a good question, and I will show you. You can go here. You can go crystalreikihealer.com. The Crystal Reiki Academy.com she's working on. That's a thing that she'll be doing more of in the future. You can see her on Facebook, Crystal Reiki Healer 1. And then we'll just kind of go down there. We'll put this little thing up there. I'll let that ticker run for a little while. So the books are available everywhere. You can buy books, basically. There they are. Okay. So I do hope that answers your question. So now we'll let you talk again, Athena.
Thank you. Yes, in the book, the first part. I always say you can jump around and go through whichever section really calls to you. The only part that I would hope that people would really tune into is that first section in the book, because this is where I do talk about Reiki, and I explain kind of a little bit of the history, but then a little bit more about how this energy works, and then how the reader can tap into this energy themselves. Because look, we're all energetic beings, right? We're all made of energy. We're all, our own magical vibration affecting each other, that butterfly ripple, that whole bit. And with Reiki, or Reiki, right? With Reiki, you're able to really tap into, into this divine healing energy, which I always, my closest way of explaining the feeling is love. So that vibration of love, we all know how we feel that warm, beautiful, like safe, loving feeling, whether it's like, a hug from mom or from grandma or from dad or from your loved one, that gorgeous feeling with your child. This love we all have access to. We just maybe don't know how to channel it on demand. So with Reiki, it's kind of like an on demand. You're making yourself this open channel to this gorgeous energy, and then you can draw this into everything in your life. I mean, from your crystals to your writing to your plants, to your children, to your ailments, any physical issues you have, any emotional issues, headaches. I mean, I haven't found a limit yet. I haven't found, an area that you can't channel this beautiful, loving energy to.
I did it on my back yesterday because I was sitting at the computer reading your book, and my back was bothering me. So I just started doing this, and I just it even took like 2 minutes.
Yes.
And my back felt better, and I was done. I was just like, oh, great, okay.
Actually,
reading, I'm like, I love her. I don't know if your ears were ringing yesterday because I was sending out so many things your way.
Thank you.
And I would have been much better like sitting in my nice comfy chair over there reading the book, but I had to sit over here on the computer.
Dealing with a PDF. I know. We gotta get you the book. This isn't gonna work.
That's true.
Yes, it is an awakening. It's a major awakening.
Love
now
that.
you had a major trauma though, really, that kind of threw you into all of this.
Yes.
Also. So let's kind of go back to that.
I don't recommend having a major event to start looking into the ways to heal yourself. I don't recommend it. But yes, I was 19 and I rolled over in a convertible on the freeway 4 times.
4 times. 4 times.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and when you do it big.
You go big or go home, right?
You was trying not to go home.
But, again, here's where these guardian angels come in. You did get hurt, but your window stayed. You saved the face. You're an actress, and look how beautiful you are. All that. However, you had a guardian angel watching over you from above, plus another one that came and helped you out of the car.
Yes, so, 4 of them. There were 4 beautiful women that had pulled over, and the one who came and lifted me out. I mean, I landed upside down. I had slammed into the mountain because it was where the freeway splits. If anybody watching knows Los Angeles, there's the 5 South 110 split. And I was on the 5 South on the 110. And this guy had decided, no, I don't want to be on the 5. I want to go to the 110. And they have those big barrels of like water and stuff. So right before, the point of no return, this white car, never found who it was, total hit and run. This guy came over, or girl, I guess, came over and hit that top, part of my car, like by the headlight. And I had a low car, like there's no reason it should have flipped. And I hit this car, and next, am I frozen, or you guys are frozen?
No, we're just listening.
I'm just listening to you.
The connection, are we there? Did we freeze?
I can hear you.
We can still hear you.
Oh, okay, good. So yes, it hit my car, and I started spiraling, and I remember thinking, okay, into the curve, out of the curve, into the curve, trying to get my car to stop fishtailing. And then I thought, please, God, I don't want to have an accident. And not realizing it's already happened. You're already in an accident. Like, it's official. Yeah. And then I see headlights, because now my car is completely turned around, and this is at night, and I see the headlights coming towards me. And I remember then everything slows down. Like time it's like this really amazing slow motion kind of thing. And I just thought, that's it. I'm going to have an accident. And I grabbed the wheel, and I tucked, and I was really little at the time. I think I weighed like 100 pounds. That was nothing. Like,
oh my God.
It was 100 pounds. And I grabbed the wheel, and I tucked myself down as far as I could, and just let go. There was not much else I could do at that point. And I felt the first impact, which was against the mountain and the wall. They still haven't repaired the wall, by the way. Still, you can see where it's crumbled. Yeah, it's really far out when I go by there. And then I felt another impact, which I thought were cars hitting me. And then it was like I was like up, like I can't even explain. Like I was up,
like negative G's, like up. Or like, out of your body up?
Out of my body. Like I was just lifted up, and I'm like up here looking down at myself. Like,
here's your guardian angel.
Far out. Wow. And then next thing I know, I'm upside down, and I come to, and Led Zeppelin is still blasting on my radio. Really
still, it wasn't still.
And I was like, oh my God, how do I? And I tried to turn the car off, and it wouldn't turn off. And I looked to the side, and the cars were upside down, and I was really confused. I clearly in shock. And I'm looking, and I'm like, where's my purse? And I reached to the seat, and of course, it's not there either. And my window, everything was shattered. So everything, all the glass in my car was shattered. Every window, my rear view mirror, my side mirrors, except my driver's side window. So I had it cracked about this much, just, for some air, I guess, whatever, when I was driving. And when I landed upside down, or as my mom says, my grandmother was there, her mom was there holding that for me. It had stuck into the dirt, into the ground, and I landed on the side of the freeway. I didn't land in the middle where I would have been hit by other cars. So really amazing, really far out. And then these women came over, they had seen it, and they pulled over and stopped and were horrified. I mean, my gosh, their faces, I mean, I was in shock, but they were like, really like, they didn't know what they were going to find when I got there. And the woman was like, and they did hit right next to where my gas tank is. So they were really freaked out and like, oh my God. And I couldn't turn the car off. So she's like, we need to get you out of this car. Like, oh my God, what if it explodes? Like and I'm looking at them like, what? Like just totally out of my mind. And she's like, can you open the door? And I'm like, are you kidding? Like, how am I going to open the door? It's in the dirt, And she's like, unlatch it. She's like, take your seatbelt off. And took that off, totally fell, knocked my head again. Opened the door, and it didn't open, but it unlatched, like the lock unlatched. So from the inside, I was kicking the door. From the outside, she was pulling it. And we got it was like 6, 7, I want to say this much space. Now, remember, I was really tiny at the time, but still, this was even small for me. This was really little. And she reached in like under my shoulders like a baby, like how you pick up a baby, just lifted me like the most incredible superhuman strength I have ever felt to date, and lifted me from this car. And, and then they got me over to the side, and they were amazing. They stayed with me until paramedics came and police came and fire trucks. And it was, it was a whole circus there. And everybody's probably very upset because we backed up traffic forever in LA. No fun. And so then, and they were amazing because they were able to corroborate my story. Because I said I got hit by a white car, and they're looking at me like, "Were you drinking?" I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "I'm 19. I'm not even like, no, I'm not drinking. Like, what? And they're like, it was a white car, and there was white paint on that front part of my car. So
I was just gonna say, yeah, these kinds of that.
And then they're looking at me like, "But you're standing here," and now I'm thinking, that's probably why they thought I was drunk, because so often drunk drivers will step out of vehicles unhurt, right? So because they're looking at me like, there's no way you're stepping out of this car. Like, look at it, and then they're like, geez, does anything hurt? And I'm like, gosh, I don't know. And I'm thinking, and I'm like, well, I don't know, maybe my neck's a little like wonky. And they were like, oh my God, like everybody freaked, get her on a board, strap her down. She broke her neck. She doesn't know it. Like, it was this whole deal. Strap me, it was so scary. And they're like, let's get you over to, where did they take me? Where they take the cops that get shot. Now I'm blanking. It was like the closest county. It was like the closest and like the trauma hospital of the city. Yep. So they took me over there, strapped to this board, and I remember being very upset because they cut my clothes off instead of just letting me take a brand new sweater. I was like,
yeah. Well, they don't want you jarring anything.
I know, but I literally was crying, like, please.
Oh, I would have been too.
And then the guy comes over and he's like, so have you ever had a narcotic before? And I was like, whoa, why? Who's asking? What do you mean? Is my mom here? What's going on?
Don't tell my mom.
Oh my God. And the guy was like, okay, well, we're going to give you morphine. And I just was like, holy is it really that bad? Like, am I really that bad? You have to get
now you're gonna start panicking, right? Because you have all the adrenaline at first.
Yeah, and I'm spinning and going crazy, and they give me morphine. I cried through that too. I'm kind of a crier, obviously, so I'm just a big ball bag over here, and I really didn't like it. So yes, narcotics were not for me, clearly. And then I went through all these like CTs and MRIs and all whatever I was kind of out of it for a lot of this. And then when everything came back, they came over and they're like, okay, well, you're free to go. And I was like, wait, what? Like, everything's okay? And he's like, there's nothing wrong with you. You're fine. You can go. And I was like, wow. So I got up and I was floating out of this hospital. Like, do you ever feel like you're walking on clouds? Woo! Morphine will do that. And I don't recommend it. Not fun.
Demerol does it too.
Yeah. Well, I had that later for later procedures. So they let me out. Long story short, they let me out. And, they never checked my low back. So they were all concerned about my neck. She broke her neck, because I guess that's the most common injury in a rollover and in a convertible. But they didn't check anything else. And then it wasn't too much later, and I stayed in bed for probably it was months. I was so kind of don't even remember that time. I was really, really out of it. And I was at my grandma's, and she was taking care of me. I didn't want to step foot in a car. Like, no way, I'm not driving. And it took a while to get past that. Just, psychologically, emotionally. And then later my low back started to bother me. Now, the cool thing about this accident is that I was not, you know, on the outside, as you had said, I was not broken or damaged or scratched or, I mean, my face could have been, torn up. That would have been it. And acting would have been over. And, I continued acting. And one of my friends at the time, who was in acting class with me, was like, "Oh my God, please go with me to this party. I really, really like this guy, and it's his birthday or somebody's birthday. And please, please, please." I was like, "Oh, come on. Don't make me go to one of these." She's like, "Please, please." And I really didn't want to go. And I was like, "Okay, fine. I'm going to take one for the team." And I go. And that was the night that I met my husband.
Yep.
And
it
just, it all keeps going. And, she had introduced me to somebody else at the club or wherever it was we were. And so I was dancing with somebody else the whole night. And then after, he was part of their friend group. And after, she's like, "Oh, they're going to go do the after hour." This was big then. I don't know. Now I'm old. I don't do it anymore.
Yeah, we used to do
the
that.
after hour and, come on. And I'm like, "Oh no, I'm out. Like, I'm done. I did your thing. I'm out." She's like, "Please," again, begging me. So I'm like, "Okay, fine." So we went to this place in Westwood, which I was like, "Okay, I don't know where Westwood is. Let's go there." And as we're getting there, we're walking up this hallway. The guy that I had met that evening was like, "Oh my God, I got to introduce you to this guy. He's the funniest guy you're ever going to meet. They call him Mel Pacino." And I'm like, "Oh my God, you're going to introduce me to a wannabe actor? Like, are you serious?" Like, no. So he walks me into this apartment, and the first thing this guy does is introduce me to my husband.
There you go.
Wow.
He felt a little, he didn't like that so much later. I was like, some years later, and I was like, "Oh my God, I never saw you. I meant to thank you for introducing me."
Exactly.
Yeah, don't mention it. Yeah, cool. I'm like,
well.
And that night, my husband, he was falling asleep. If you listen to his side of the story, he was falling asleep during, and I walked in, and he, woke up like, "Who is this woman?" Like, "Oh my God." And all he could think is, "I need to talk to her." And the only seat available in the entire room in this whole house apartment was the seat right next to him. So the guy brings me over and sits me next to him. And as the night progresses, I find out, he's a chiropractor. And I was like, "Oh, you're a chiropractor." I was like, "Yeah, I had this gnarly accident, and, I've always been a little bit off since." And he's like, "Oh, well, let me check it out. Let me adjust you." And so I'm on the floor in the living room of this random party at like 3 a.m, getting adjusted. And then it was just all of this, like, "Well, is that," the guy left to the bathroom. He's like, "Is that your boyfriend?" I'm like, "Oh, no, I just met him tonight." And he's like, "Oh, well, do you like sushi?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, can I take you?" I said, "No." And he was floored. Like, "What do you mean?" And we've had this great rapport. He thinks we're
I
great.
just adjusted your back, and
Yeah. And I'm like, "Yeah, I just met you. It's like 3 a.m, and I have no idea who you are. Like, I'm not going out with you." Like, "No, I didn't even want to be here. Remember?"
Right.
And sure enough, little by little, he's the type of man who does not take no for an answer. And, when he knows what he wants, that's there, he's going to move heaven and hell to get there. So he did. And I really should write a book just about our love story, because it's so incredible. And the signs that came through were so incredible. For example, the night that, so he says, "Can I have your phone number?" I said, "No." He said, if you say your phone number and I remember it, can I take you to sushi?
Huh.
I'm like, "Okay, I guess that's hard to."
You told him, and he said it to him
threw it out
5 million times.
This guy knew it. He knew it. He called me. So check this out. So then I flaked on him, right? And I was like, "I don't want to go out with this guy." I called my girlfriend. "I don't know who this guy is. It's some random Persian guy. I'm not going out with him." And she's like, "Okay, cool. So what do you want to do?" I'm like, "Cool. Let's go to wherever we were going to go." So we're heading over Laurel Canyon, and there's a pedestrian walking in the crosswalk. And I'm like, "Natalie, stop. And she's stops, and she's super religious. She's all about Jesus and, you know, signs and all this stuff. So she stops and she's like, thanks, Athena. Like, oh my gosh, you're like my guardian angel. Bam, we get rear-ended from behind. And get out of the car. We're like, oh my gosh, now my neck really does hurt. And the next morning, we both wake up stiff and sore. And she's like, well, we have to go to Dr. Mel. I'm like, I just flaked on him. Call him now. She's like, no, it's fine. Just tell me you had a car accident. So I did. So I called him. He was not happy to hear from me. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I flaked on you. I had a car accident. Totally switched around. Oh my God, are you okay? Was there anything I can do? I'm like, well, actually, you know, I'm kind of stiff, you know, please come in. I'll take care of you. And, you know, if anybody's had an accident, you know, like this, you know, you have to go quite a bit, right? So here I am going to his office 3 times a week, and and his partner is working on me, and his partner at the time, and then he was working on my friend, and, you know, they're both in our ears, like, oh no, he really likes you and all this stuff, and taking us to lunch and all this. And then, you know, I was like, well, I'm looking for a place to move. And he's like, oh, I happen to know this place right over here. And it was like all these little ducks in a row, like all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, you weaved a web and just stuck me in there. I'm like, that's what happened. But it was amazing. We would finish, you know, sentences. Like I would say, gosh, you know, do you have one of those? And he's like, yeah. I don't know what I'm going to say yet. He's like, yeah, you know, those suitcases that fold. I was like, whoa, like amazing. I'm like, you're weird. Like, okay. And I kept trying to put it off and kept saying no and being resistant and all this. And that was the best way, because I was, you know, I was a challenge. I wasn't going to just give in so easy. And I'm sorry, men like to have a challenge. Ladies out there, even single out there, you got to make them work for it, you know?
Damn straight.
Damn straight. They need to feel like men. They need to woo you. They need that challenge. And I'm sorry, it's really nice to be wooed, you know, like it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
So, you know, in the end, I gave in, but you know, I went to France. I was in the Cannes Film Festival, and for a movie I had just made, and we had just met. We were only together, you know, like 2 weeks at this point, and we had gone out and we had listened to music, and he liked all these like old songs. You know, chips, da ti di doom, shaboom, shaboom. I don't know the name of the song. I have to think of it. Da ti do doom, shaboom, shaboom, da ti do. So I go to France, and I'm staying on this yacht, which was just incredible, right? And I'm walking red carpets, and it's everything that an actress thinks this is it, right? So cool. And like I ran into Morgan Freeman. I was like with all these like serious stars, and probably making a complete, you know, jerk of myself. But it was so exciting, and I was very young, totally naive, totally not ready for this. But here I was, Rita Hayworth's grandniece, and you know, paparazzi all over me. And I went back into the yacht, and I was like, okay, I need just a minute to like ground myself, and like just, you know, I didn't know it was grounding myself at the time, but I knew I needed this like moment of like calm and quiet.
Yeah.
So I go downstairs into my room in the yacht, and that song is playing on somewhere, and I'm like, where is that coming from? So I chase it. I'm like trying to find it. And we had Ivanka Trump next to us in her gigantic yacht next to us. So I thought maybe it's coming from there. So I got up and went up on deck, couldn't hear the music anymore. I was like, okay, that's really weird. So then I go back downstairs, and I'm like, no, it's definitely here. I'm like, but the stereo's not on. Nothing is on. There's nothing. Like, I'm like, whoa, like angels, what are you doing? Like, because, you know, meanwhile, I'm still doubting. I'm still thinking like, oh, you know, I was really young, and I just thought, this guy's so serious. I mean, our second date. He's like, you know, I just don't want to, you know, waste your time, and I don't want you to waste mine. I just, you know, want you to know things are going well. Like, you know, we're going to take the next step. I'm like, what?
What?
Like, what is this guy talking about? Just so far out of my range of thinking at the time. And here I am on this yacht and our music is playing. And it was like all these different signs of like, clearly we were brought together. Clearly we were meant to be together. And here we are, we're 20 years later, we're still together. We have 3 kids. This poor guy worked on my back for so many years.
But didn't he also yell at you and say, "Hey, you're a Reiki master, heal it"?
Yes. So when it came down to it, we found that I had a fracture. And when we discovered that I had a fracture, he was so devastated because he's like, I can't fix that. Like, I can help your muscles. I can help your pain. I can realign you, all this, but I can't, do this. Like, I'm going to have surgery. And I just was like, I don't want to have, like, I don't. Like, back surgery has such a high failure rate, especially fusion surgeries. It's like a 60%. It's like really bad. Yeah. And I was really terrified. Yeah, I was so terrified. And meanwhile, I had started doing Reiki for myself just to try to get my pain levels under control, because I really didn't like who I was becoming or who I was acting like when I was on all this medication. I don't respond well to medication. I can't. I'm not kidding. No, it's bad.
Yeah, she's going through a similar stuff.
Oh, honey, I so feel you and empathize. So yes, I was on all these medications, nerve medication, that, like, gosh, all of these things that have horrible side effects. And I just thought there has to be another way, because they're giving me all these drugs. My pain is not less. I'm still going through it. So now I have side effects on top of it. Can't sleep, all these other issues. And so it comes down to, we have to have surgery. And, so the first surgery that I scheduled, I was meant to have a double fusion, my L4-5 and 5S1. And we had just had my son's birthday party, and we had all these people over, and I was about to go for my pre-op, and I got really sick. And my surgery is like 5 days away, 4 days away even. And I got really sick, and I thought, oh my God, I got a flu from the birthday party. And so, my husband's like, yeah, you don't sound good. You have fever. Maybe you should go to the hospital. Maybe we should go to urgent care. I'm like, no. I'm fine. I'll take some silver. I'll take some, all my garlic and all my little herbs and stuff that I take. I'm super holistic, and I really like all the natural. I just feel like it's more effective. It works faster than the stuff in a bottle anyway. So I was doing all this, and then I just kept getting worse. And I would have these fever rigors, which are like seizures. So it start this like horrible shaking, and so painful because your muscles seize, right? And then I started getting this purple rash all over me. And one of my friends I wanted her to take me to my pre-op, because at this point my walking is really bad. I can't really walk. I've got a brace. I'm just a mess. And she's like, takes one look at me, and she's like, "You're going to urgent care? Like, there's no way. Like, I'm not taking you to pre-op. Like, there's no way. You're bad." And I was on the floor, like crying in the bathroom, trying to get myself together for my pre-op, not thinking like, yeah, maybe it's not going to work out. So turns out I got typhus. So I got Mirren typhus. Yes. So because I like to go big or go home, right?
Yeah, right.
No,
I don't get little colds. I get like knocked out like by things, and the doctors, nobody could believe it. It was one of those like crazy things. And the only thing that would have blocked me from having this surgery, the fusion, the double fusion, because if it had been a cold, if it had been a flu, it would have been fine. I would have gone through and I still would have had the surgery. But Mirren typhus, I was out like 6 weeks minimum before you can even consider having a procedure, because all your levels are like all over the place. My liver enzymes and my spleen was enlarged. It was like all kinds of weird stuff. And so I'm in this hospital, and part of having Mirren typhus is you have difficulty breathing. And I started to kind of panic while I was in this ER room, the triage, and I had Nurse Ratchet that night. She was so awful. And sorry, I hope one day she hears one of these shows. She was
What was her name?
I don't remember her name. I don't know if I ever
She
caught
knows
it.
who she is.
She knows the only murine typhus patient in that hospital. Okay, so I was the only one, and whoever she was, that was me. And I had sent my husband home, like, go, somebody had to stay with the kids, right? I have 3 kids at home, and our daughter was little, and I'm laying in this bed having these seizures. I thought were seizures. They're called fever rigors. I learned later. And at one point, I can't breathe, and she wouldn't come back. And I kept clicking this button, and she just wouldn't come. And I just was like, oh my God. And it's like, and they've got these IVs. So I'm like, I need to go to the bathroom. Like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, and I start like I can't breathe. Right. And my lungs are starting to fill up. And I just thought, oh my God, Athena, you can't do this. Like, you gotta calm down. You gotta calm down. So just about 2 weeks before, a month before, I don't know if it was even a whole month, my uncle had passed from cancer, and his wife, man, like 2 weeks apart from each other. So I decided, and we were very close. He was, he was the one who held my hands when I was teaching me to walk and stuff. So I reached out to him, and he's like my pseudo uncle, my dad's best friend, but he was my uncle as far as I was concerned. And, I'm laying in this hospital bed freaking out. And I just said, please, can you please come help me? Like, Rod, are you there? Like, I really am not well. I'm like, really, really not well. And I can't breathe. And he he steps out of the shadows, from the curtain.
Wow.
And just smiles at me like I'm here. And I was like, oh my God, thank you, you're well. I'm like, oh my God, how's Nancy? Did you guys, find each other? And he reaches back, and he's going to take somebody's hand, and she steps up. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy for you guys. You're together. And meanwhile, I have completely forgotten that I can't breathe. And I'm having a panic.
Right? Because now you have a different focus.
Right. So I'm like, how's grandma? And is she good? Have you seen her? Because he grew up with her too, right? And he just turns, and she comes out of this curtain, and I'm like, Grandma, things, right? Like, I love you. And then I'm like, oh my God. And she looks young, younger than, sorry?
You know what you got to do right now?
Get a tissue.
You got to take back, you need a tissue, and you got to take back your Nurse Ratchet story, because if Nurse Ratchet had gone in there and taken better care of you,
I know, right?
None of this would have happened.
100%. So, don't shoot the messenger, right? And here
So thank you, Nurse Ratchet.
Thank you, Nurse Ratchet.
Nurse Ratchet, for all that torture, it ended up being this beautiful blessing. And, she looked young. And then I asked her if she met my grandfather, and he stepped through. And I kept going. And then it was like, oh my God, well, how's Grandma Sheila? And then she steps through. And how's my Grandma Donald? And he steps through. Now, meanwhile, I've never met my grandfathers. So here I have my grandfathers in the room with me, and I've never met them. And they're just both so lovely. And my grandfather on my dad's side, he's this jokester. He's not jokester, but he's talking and laughing. He's getting me to loosen up and be happy and kind of forget, a distraction. And he's from the actor's side of the family, so everybody else is a little more mellow, and he's of course he's Rita's brother, so he's the one that's oh hi, and I was just like, oh my God. And for the life of me, and I can't remember the conversation that we had, but when I talked to my parents about it after, and I waited a minute to tell anybody, because I really kind of felt maybe I'm just delusional, and it's
the drugs.
I'm like, but I really don't feel like I'm delusional. I could see them, I could see you guys.
Yeah.
And then and then of course Nurse Ratchet comes in and hits the
Oh my
curtain.
God.
Poof! I mean, it was like almost like a, like when smoke dissipates,
Mhm.
steam, it was kind of like this. And it was just the most amazing thing. And this surgery, this illness was so incredible because as awful as it was, and this is, true for really for everything in life, that these tests that we go through, as hard and as difficult as they are at the time, it saved me from a double fusion. It saved it. I got to meet family that I had never met before. I didn't have this doctor that ended up being really not so great. And my nerve pain settled down. Maybe just from being in the hospital for 4 or 5 days laying down. Who knows? I don't know. I had a little bit of
children around kind of keeps that active.
Yes. Yeah. Right. And then, I was so weak after the surgery. I got out of laundry duty for like a month. I mean, it was great.
Oh, nice.
That's a lot with 3 kids too and a husband.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And then I found the doctor that was really, the one that was meant to do my surgery. And when I went for him, it was in the recovery room after, and they told me like, oh, you'll be out of here in a day. No big deal. So not the case. Don't listen. That's not how it is. I was in this bed literally racked with pain that my jaw would shake and, like sobbing, couldn't see anything. They were giving me all these drugs. Demerol, like was one of them, like all these heavy drugs. Nothing was doing it. And at one point, back to what you were saying, my husband leans over me and yells at me, "You're a Reiki master, for God's sakes. Do Reiki on yourself." Desperate for something to happen. And it was like this light bulb, like,
right.
Oh my gosh, can I do that? I can do that. Okay. Because I'd always ever done it in, these beautiful, quiet settings and, where they're nice on the table and you got music and it's lovely. And this is trauma and scary and awful. And I'm in pain. It's miserable. So I'm like, okay. And I, start to do my, my positions, and 30, 45 seconds later, my breath came back to me. I was calm. My jaw stopped. I mean, it sounds so like it's not possible. It's really possible.
So true.
It is. Oh yeah.
Just calmed down, and I opened my eyes, and suddenly I actually could see, like, I had a whole bunch of people in my room. I didn't even know were there. My husband was like looking at me in complete shock, like, oh my God. Like, we all became believers that day. I mean, it was like, not that I didn't believe in it before, I did. This was really one of those like testimonies of faith. It's like for people who really believe in God, really, really, but then something will happen where they have this incredible awakening testimony.
God slammed the iron door.
God actually came, right? Yes.
Yeah, he did. He really did. I mean, I said, if God exists, then he'd shut my mind off. And, I was acting like a little kid and doing this. And I sit down on my couch, right? And as I'm sitting is when I said that. Then he'd shut my mind off. Boom. Iron curtain came down. My eyes are wide awake. I'm wide awake. My eyes they're wide open. I see nothing. And it seemed like minutes. I don't even know how long it was. I mean, it seemed like an eternity, but I seriously don't know. And then when I could finally see again, I was like, oh, great. Now I'm really going crazy.
Okay, I'm not the only one that says that. Yeah, totally. But it's true. You have these moments of such incredible, like, awe-inspiring moments of validation and clarity. Yeah. And once you have that, there's really no going back. Like, that's it.
Totally. All your stories, I swear to God, we're like living like almost like these parallel lives. It's so funny. Like some of these people that we have on the show, I'm just like, I can relate to so many things. The car accidents. I should have been dead multiple times, multiple car accidents, messed up neck. I have pain every day in my neck, since I was 17. It never goes away.
Mama
It's,
D, you gotta
it's
do.
no, I can do it. And she's in Canada, and she can't. No, I can do all these things. I do have to go to chiropractor. Sometimes it gets out, But I mean, but my back, my neck, and years of labor, and but the accidents though, with all that shattered glass and everything, the trailer truck is coming right at me, and I'm going, oh, there it is, I'm done, and
And we're not.
and then it's like he hits the car. I had a Buick Skylark at the time. Right? I was a kid, right? This thing is like
it
a
makes me
metal
think
beast.
Buick Skylark. Yeah, I love
Buick
it.
Skylark. Right. So if you gotta do an accent right, you gotta do it right. I'll teach you. But the truck comes up and it hits me on the side, and it's I literally, because I didn't wear seatbelts. We didn't wear seatbelts then, I went all the way to the other side of the car, all the way back to this side of the car. All of the glass is shattered, all this, and I'm saying I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm just dead. And because of that car being the beast that it was, I wasn't. I really wasn't even cut, like that much either. I had like a couple, scratches. I got one good scar from the glass, but nothing face wise, nothing like that. I had, hurt my elbow. It did mess up my neck again, but nothing like external, internal. That car, what happened was I was going down a hill and it was icy out, and there was a car waiting to pull into traffic, and there was two cars in front of me. And we're separated way far away from each other, driving safely. One car goes by him, the other car goes by him, and then just as I'm getting out there, he pulls out. So I tried to turn my wheel so I wouldn't hit him, to get into across the street was a huge parking lot, all open, no curbs, no nothing, but a damn telephone pole right in the middle of it. So my car is heading for the driveway, to go in, but the ice, and I'm on the hill, it slid and then went forward and right in the center of my car on that telephone pole, so I couldn't move. And then in the meantime, because it's icy, the trailer truck is bombing up the hill to make it up the hill.
Mm-hmm.
And you're on ice. This is disaster waiting to happen. And and then somehow we go through these incredible life-threatening, like shouldn't be here anymore accidents. And yes, we have some residual things that stay with us, but it changes the course of our lives in ways that, Nurse Ratchet was this horrible person. And here I met angels. I had this rollover car accident, and then I met my husband. You had this, I mean, it's like this cause and effect. And that's why, when I'm speaking to people and even our lessons are blessings, even the things that we think are so awful in that moment, we have to go through them, because that's how we grow. That's how we end up, where we're meant to be, or with whom we're meant to be with. And that wouldn't happen otherwise.
And you also put this type of stuff in your book about being grateful and writing and journaling and gratitude lists. Mama D, we talk about that a lot.
All the time, yeah.
Yeah, that gratitude. It shifts your energy too. It's not just about, yes, it brings in, abundance. It'll bring in blessings for you, being, showing gratitude, but it works in a way that it shifts your energy. It shifts your entire vibration. And when you are shifted into the positive, you really do attract. It's like a magnet, that you attract these other positive, wonderful things too into your life and into your energy. Like what, when I'm working with people who are going through things like self-love, there's a chapter in there on self-love too. And, really valuing yourself. If you're not showing your self-love, think about it. That's the vibration you're also putting out there. And, your mama's going to love you, your grandma's going to love you, but no, that love interest, you don't love yourself. They're not going to love you as well.
Yeah. They would have never met me, and then they needed your help to break free. Yeah. Well, everything, and when you get helped, you tend to want to help.
You do.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. you gotta pay it forward, right? You gotta
Exactly.
pay it forward, and it's such a gift to be able to do that, because I guess I'm one of those people. It's just I like to give. It's hard for a long time. It was hard for me to ask for help or ask for. It's still sometimes it's hard
She's
to
in the
ask
right
for help.
box.
Yeah.
Am I in the right home? I'm home.
Yeah.
Really
He's
hard.
always yelling at me.
And I love to give, and I'll give till there's, I'm depleted. And that's
Yes.
when, I've got,
Yep,
like
it's me.
my best friend, Michelle, will be like, Athena, you got to do your self-care. Like, come on, this. And I'm like, yes, you're right. I know this. It's
But
like,
one more thing. I just got to do this one more
Yep.
thing.
yeah. I mean, it really is, right? It's like that. I was like, okay, well, as soon as I finish, and then I'm just, wiped out. And now that I work with not just my family and with my children, but with, clients, it's become really important to also take care of myself. Because, if I'm going to be a good healer and I'm going to help other people, it's the same concept with self-love. If you don't love yourself, who else is going to come and love you if I don't take care of myself?
But it is also like a roller coaster ride too with that, because that is easily forgotten.
Right.
I'm exactly that.
Get into patterns, right? It's behavioral
Yes.
stuff. Yeah, your patterns, and maybe some of this comes from our own childhoods, right? Where I mean, I don't know what your situation was, but being the eldest of 7, it was a lot of, Athena, you got to help. Athena, you got to do this. Athena, you got to do that. And so you got used to always being this caretaker role.
Well, I was the youngest of 4. It was 3 in a row, 5 years later than me. I was the whoopsie.
Oh, you were the oopsies. Oh, my husband's the oops. Yes.
See? But the oops people are the best people.
They
So
are.
what's funny is that each one of my siblings, my brother, my 2 sisters, they each have specific talents. I've got them all.
And then you got to have all of
I'm
them.
like, I can do everything that they can do.
He's the favorite
better.
child. And it's true, because you come in and you have to deal with so many personalities and kind of find your way, fit into this mold, especially I think those oops babies, because everybody's kind of like, wait, you weren't supposed to be here. So it's almost like you have to work extra to create your place in your family, and then you do that as well in the world. You really carve out your place. And my husband's the same way. I mean, you guys are such beautiful.
I'm so independent. It's pathetic, and I'm pretty much I've been on my own since I was 15. But at the age of 12, I was making more money working in a weekend than my mother did working all week. And it's like I've held just a few jobs, like real jobs. Other than that, I've worked for myself pretty much my entire life.
Excuse me. Wait a minute. Take a few real jobs, dude. Everything you ever do is real. Could we stop?
No, I mean like people that make paychecks.
You mean where you work for other people?
Yes.
Because what you do, everything she does is real job.
When you work for yourself, you're dying all the time, because it's like it's every hat that you wear, and from booking appointments, making appointments, going and doing the appointments and the consultations, doing the work. Tear this kitchen out, rebuild this kitchen. Let's put this one in. Let's take that one out. All right, all this, and then do all the book work, and then pay people. So then you got payroll, then you got taxes. I was like, oh yeah,
Oh, good times.
So worth it.
I mean, but you also get a lot more control over your life and a lot more control over, your choices that you can make. There's nobody like overhanging you. What is this? 3 different car rollovers, a head-on car crash, and I've hit a bridge and got wedged across the bridge. It is so funny how time seems to stop. Dave,
yes, that is so true.
There.
I get it.
Yes.
That's so true. That's exactly it. It's like things come at you. They seem like they're coming in slow motion. Then when when that glass is flying around, it seems like it's slow motion. It's so weird.
It's so bizarre. And it really does. Like, as soon as I saw those headlights, it was like a movie, like, everything just like slowed down. And it was like, wow. And then when you come out, it speeds up again. It's like real time again. It really is like that. I so feel you there.
I've had a lot of accidents too. That was a big one. And then another truck mashed me into a guardrail, and like a whole bunch. I was pulling out of a blind driveway, and another truck hit me in the rear end and spun my car this way. Didn't flip it over, but it spun it that way. And then that was the end of that car.
Yeah,
but
I take care of a few myself. My son wants to drive now, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. No.
I know. Don't you freak out? So then I drive, and when I'm a passenger, I held onto the oh shit bar. And
I do that too. I totally do that too. I'm always holding on. My husband and my kids are like, Mom, what are you doing? Like, what do you think you're gonna fall out of the car? I'm like, no, it's just I just feel a little more like, secure. It's fine. I'm like, I mean, at least I'm not as my mom. I'm not slamming into the foot of the car with my like brakes. My mom does this. She's out of the floor, like trying to brake.
Yep, that's me. I'll do that. To Bob.
That makes it really hard to learn how to drive, by the way. When somebody's doing that, I'm like, oh my God, Mom, stop. So yes, now I have to teach my son, and same. I had a head-on collision as well. That was another one who he gave me false information. That was before the rollover. And then one of the rollovers butchers meat cleaver along for the ride.
Oh my God.
Really?
Why
do you have a butcher cleaver?
Why? I really need to, Dave.
Okay, Dave.
That's just like, in your handbag type of thing.
I was like, okay, it's in my glove box. There we go.
I just gotta keep it on the seat next to me, just in case.
I've had some crazy things in my car, but not a butcher's meat cleaver.
Yeah.
No. Imagine that, watching that going in slow motion.
No.
Like, you got glass, you got knives.
Talk about a Hollywood movie. Luke.
I mean, right? This is definitely what it is. It is Hollywood. I mean, and Hollywood does, they do exaggerate certain things, but certain things really are not.
Everything starts in a grain of truth.
Everything is based on somebody's story, It's somebody's story.
All folklore and all kinds of fairy tales and everything else. All those things.
Absolutely.
A pearl and an oyster starts from a grain of sand.
Starts from a grain of sand, and it's all
Your brother was a chef back then. Okay, so tell him to keep his damn knives to himself. Why is it in your car? Harness that thing.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. So it's all of these things, they happen, but they bring us clarity. They change. Sometimes they'll change our focus. Sometimes we're not on the right path for us, and we'll have one of these things that literally changes the course of your life. And I know it's really hard, but in the moment you need to trust that this is happening for a reason. And the reason is not a bad one. Our brains tend to spin and tell us, no, everything's negative, everything's bad, everything's dangerous, everything's evil, everything's, and this is like our brains are literally made this way. Our amygdala fired that way, which is, it kept us alive, right? During our, Neanderthal days or whatever, back in the caves and all that kept us safe. That was our major survival instinct. And this carried memory of dangerous situations we were in so that we wouldn't do it again. But nowadays, this is triggered by stress. And stress, I mean, everybody says, oh, stress is a killer. It's real. That's not a joke. It really is. Your body starts releasing cortisol. You have physical changes. So if anybody out there, when we work with something like Reiki, you are literally manifesting positive change and healing in your body. And the flip side of that is when you're thinking negatively and you're stressed out, think about all the toxic stuff that's going on inside your body. You end up with headaches. You can end up with like stomach aches, bloating, pain in places that shouldn't even be there, nightmares, lack of sleep. And then what happens when you don't sleep enough? Your body's not regenerating, like all these, snowballing effects. But when you take in something like Reiki, or you take in, and I love to do Reiki and crystals together because I think they're a really gorgeous blend of
It's a
energy.
great teamwork.
It's teamwork, right? Yes, thank you, Mama D. Yes, you've got that from above, and you've got that grounding energy from our physical plane, and they work so well together in ways that Reiki will come, and this beautiful loving energy will go to where it needs to serve you for your highest good. But then sometimes we're like, but I don't want to deal with my childhood trauma. I just need to sleep better tonight.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, okay. So especially,
You
when
want to sleep good one night, or do you want to sleep good every night?
right. And so it's like, okay, well, we can grab a piece of amethyst and together with Reiki, now we're working and channeling this energy. We're dealing with these old traumas that maybe are the root cause of that sleep, but then we're getting that immediate help, that immediate fix with the crystal energy, so that it's like, this is where the client, or me, for example, like I needed to work on healing my back. So I had some apatite with me. I had green calcite with me. I was sleeping with all these rocks. I had rocks all over my bed, and to help my body regrow bone. I had to regrow bone, right? So like that's not daunting at all. Yeah, let's just
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, it was totally fine. And so we had to do this. But that was like why the crystals were so great, because I could really direct and focus energy to where my immediate, or what I thought my immediate needs were. Likewise with people who are coming to me for healings, they have an immediate focus. This is what I want to work on. This is what I want to heal. And sometimes it's like, okay, and that's wonderful, and we will get to that, and we will go through it. But it's not like, I'm going to do Reiki and just flip the switch for you.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you, when you cut yourself and you put a Band-Aid, that doesn't mean that it's healed. You still need some time for that to heal. But if you keep the wound clean and you keep it covered and you keep it from, getting infected, it's gonna heal so much stronger than it was even before. And so with Reiki, it's kind of a similar thing. Like, there are layers of healing that we have to go through. And Reiki is so gentle and so powerful, but so gentle, that you can go through these energy shifts in ways that, you can adjust easily. Like it's not going to be like a traumatic healing event, right? And yes, some people do get very emotional.
You can do this though.
You can't. Yes, sometimes you'll have very emotional experiences. You'll have like some real powerful releases, but it's gentle, and that you don't have like, it's not going to be like recovering from surgery. That is definitely not going to be happening. So when I say gentle, you have to realize that my version of not gentle is like healing in a hospital from surgery, and being the bionic woman here with my nuts and my screws.
I know, right? Yeah, all these
whatever they
screws
put in there. I wish I had a picture on here. I would show you like what my back looks like. Gosh, I don't.
a friend of mine went through the same thing, and I did see all her cage, and
it's a little
nuts and bolts
it's like a cage with these crazy screws that go into your back. And I'm like, do I even have space in your body to do that?
That's just, it doesn't flex anymore. It's just bends.
You lose some movement. You definitely lose some of that. Like I was so flexible. I grew up in ballet, and I used to be able to bend over and put my hands like flat on the floor in front of me, like just whoosh, not even thinking twice. Now it's like I go down and I'm like, wait, why? I'm stuck. Like, what is this? But not stuck from like tight
this gentle thing y'all pick up? Reiki. He's talking about Reiki. And
well, his wife does an amazing healing modality, and he knows. He's just being a smarty pants.
Oh, he's just being clever. Oh, okay.
He's being, wait a minute, he's being Jay.
He's being
Jay is an amazing person. His heart is humongous. And he just likes to poke fun. He's got a lot of casts.
He's back to Reiki. He's bringing us back to energy healing and all of this. Thank you.
It's a wonderful thing. Reiki is a wonderful thing. Yes, it is.
It's a wonderful thing.
All kinds of energy healing the chi working like with our guest last week. Prana was what I really learned more than the Reiki. But now I'm really like, I want to be a Reiki master. After reading your book, I'm like, I want to be a Reiki master. I've been thinking about it for a while. She's a Reiki master, but I've always done prana healing. My hands heat up, and then I'm doing everything in there. And as soon as I do this, my hands are on fire.
Yeah.
And then
well, then it'll be a very easy transition over to
so much easier to bring all this energy through.
Energy anyway. This is, and that's the point, is we all have access to this beautiful energy. It's just kind of, it's like, taking Windex to a dirty window, so you can like see clearly, right? It's kind of, I guess like that, or like a straw that suddenly is open because the milkshake melted, right? It's like all of a sudden you have like this beautiful flow when you learn Reiki. And part of what was so important to me in
this is a beautiful thing. Anyone who shares their energy and life force to help someone else is an angel on earth. I agree.
Earth angels. Yes.
Yep, I agree. I
So
can't believe this time is going so fast.
Well, it is going fast. We've been on here for a while. So in the first section, you read that part, because this is where you can have access to that energy. And it's called the self-attunement in the book, but it's really me. I blessed this entire section. I wouldn't even let my publisher send it off to print until I had the final manuscript. It was very important to me. I need to have this final manuscript. I need to bless and work with these pages before it goes to print. Before you send it out, I need to work on this. And and so you can have access to this. And then, of course, if you want to learn and learn more, you can go and find, a Reiki master that resonates with you and study.
Yep. And you have that in the book. Like I'm saying, this is the word is the Bible. All right, this is it. You're right here. I was printing off, because again, I said I have a PDF, right? So I'm printing off things, all right, because people always ask us about all these things. Cleansing, you have a whole thing on cleansing all of your crystals. Numbers and feathers. All right, what the meanings of numbers when you see 222, you're on the right path. You go through all of them, all the way up through the 000s. All the colors of feathers, when you see them, you have a definition of all the feathers. Okay, so you're gonna find out all these things. I could read them to you people, but you know what? I'm not gonna, because I want you to get this book, because it's so worth getting. Right? You have
moon rituals. There's moon rituals there too, and so many rituals. So you can take an active role in your healing.
Why is it so important to have rituals?
I love to have rituals. I think it's so important to take an active role in your healing, to take an active role in your energy, rather than just always being this like bouncing board with letting other people affect you. I wanted to really empower the reader. Take your power back. Like this is your life. This is your energy. This is your body. This is your world too. And if you're vibrating higher, I'm going to vibrate higher. So, and then everybody around us will too. So when you do these rituals, and, it doesn't have to be to the T. They're not meant to be like, you're not baking a cake here where if you miss an ingredient, it's going to turn out wonky. It's not quite like that. But when you practice this, the magic is in the ritual itself. You are creating change, positive change for your life. Everything is a ritual for you.
OCD. Yes, OCD and ADHD. Yeah, I'm OCD, so yeah, everything is wicked.
We got to have all of our things set, right? We got to have it all down.
Yeah, Mama.
That was just a Gemini rising thing for me. That like all the details. But maybe
I'm a Capricorn. Yeah, it's gotta be my way or the highway.
Yeah, my husband's the chiropractor. My husband is the Capricorn. See, you guys have it. Yeah, don't take no for an answer. And
yeah, that's how I got stuck here.
Yeah.
Really, honestly, I had her as a guest on my show. I was a guest on her show, and she had a guest. She was a guest on mine. I said, we should just, why don't you come over and co-host with me? Once, see if you like.
Just once or twice, a couple of times, and then it was like.
Oh, and here you are. And how long have you two been doing this together?
Over a year.
Yeah, it's over a year
Oh,
now. Yeah.
cool.
Feels
Yeah.
like forever, but I love her, so it's good.
I know. I love her. I love her to death. I do love her to death.
That's
But you know,
amazing. That.
yeah. So we bounce off each other all the time, and you know, she yells at me. I have to yell at her very rarely, but I do.
You want to put those links back up?
Yep.
Aside from Amazon, there are her websites.
Yep. And also in her book, she tells you when you want to find a Reiki master. She's got Finding a Reiki Master. Online courses, she lists two people, Reiki organization members. You can go to ReikiAssociation.com. There's two other links in there, a directory for your area. So, you know, she's helping in every single way possible in this book. All right. And all kinds of, she tells you, she's got charts for your chakras, what they are, what part of the physical body, what stones go with what chakras, what do you want to have in your office to help you? What stones do you want on your desk? And I love that too, because on your desk, your workstation where creativity and productivity meet, and you have amethyst, black obsidian, desert rose, and hematite. All of those I have, all of those I love. Right, and I wear most of them, right? But it's just except for desert rose, I don't wear that. But I have rose quartz, so I figure, is it close enough?
I love Desert Rose. It's got that beautiful crown chakra energy, but it's also really wonderful for that self-worth, self-value, self-love. And so often when we're at our workspace, you know, whether it's because you have a boss or it's because you work for yourself and you don't think you're good enough, you know, there's all these thoughts of like, oh, I can't do this, I can't get through it. And that one really helps, like, yes, you can. You have got this. Like, you've got this. You can do it. Not only are you going to do it, you're going to do it the best way you can, and it's going to be a success. I mean, I had all these crystals around my computer when I was writing the book. I always had like something around me. I was always like burning, you know, sage or smudging, you know, rosemary or any of these. Like, rosemary is so wonderful for your focus. You know,
Yes.
and it actually, you know, there's now science behind that too. It's not just hoodoo voodoo, as my husband says. It's there's
I think a
actual,
lot of us hear about that one.
Mhm,
yeah, there's
Yeah.
science doing that now, where it activates like that frontal lobe in your brain, and brings your focus there. So a lot of these energy tools they're not just made up because they feel good. They feel good for a reason, because they actually work, and your energy aligns with them. And crystals are in everything now. It's so cool. They're in our computers.
But crystals are even in our head.
They're in our head. We even have crystals in our heads.
Built in, built in, because
Yes.
she knocked the crystals out of
I,
whack.
many years ago, I got this dizzy thing going on, and I went to the doctor, and they said, "Oh, the crystals in your ears are out of whack." And I was like, "Okay, so my dad was right. I do have rocks in my head." It's like, but it was simple the way to rebalance them. And I'm the type of person who will go once, and if it's something I can do at home, I'll continue to do whatever needs to be done at home, and I still do. It's a simple thing that a lot of people, oh my God, you're going to get dizzy. You're going to have to go take medication. It's like, no, just bounce the rocks in my head and I'm good.
And then well, they actually discovered that with birds. Birds that were migrating, they discovered there were actually crystals like in their beaks.
Yeah.
And that was how, and it aligned with the Earth's with our our energy, our ley lines. Thank you. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, with the ley lines of the Earth, these magnetic, we actually have like the Earth has its own vibration too, and energy that it puts out. And, you know, we are aligned with that. And so crystals are now, we're just learning more and more and more. And there's trying to do studies on it. There's not a lot of funding because, you know,
it's the woo woo. As Jay says, it's the woo woo stuff.
It's the woo woo stuff, and there's just more money in pharmaceuticals. So why would we self heal when we can take a pill that costs, you know, $10,000? So
yeah, but I think the metaphysical area of life is coming to pass. I mean, they do Reiki in surgical hospitals now.
Yes,
you know, and the first time I saw that, I was like, oh my
God, yes. Oh, I have some of that in the book too. They do. And when I was, I did Reiki on myself in the hospital, but they offered that as a spiritual counselor. Would you like somebody to just Reiki? And I was like, what? I was like, I got to do this. So I went myself and I got my, I got ordinated with a church I'm now a reverend. So I guess you could call me Reverend Athena or Reverend Bahri. It's
Yo, Rev.
Just your Rev. I did that so that I could go in and also help people in the hospital, even in ICUs. Like, you're the only one that's like really allowed to go.
Exactly.
If you're not immediate family. You can go in there and bring Reiki to people in hospitals. And
there is, I'm not sure where it was, but I know that there's a hospital somewhere, Schumann Residence, the Schumann Residence, 7.8.
There we go. Yeah. Yeah. There we go.
There's a hospital that the palliative care, they have Reiki practitioners, they have mediums who go in. I think it's over in the UK where they're part of the hospital staff.
Yeah, because people
and
are
important
faster. Yeah. And I'm not against Earth's natural frequency. Thank you, Jay. Jay has all these wonderful little pointers here.
People have been trying to tap into that since ancient.
Yeah.
I mean, the pyramids all have an energy beam coming out of the top of every single pyramid.
There's a reason they made them like this, right?
And the way that they line up. And if you measure every single pyramid all around the world, it's the same height that this energy thing is coming. So you can't tell me that these things weren't all for a reason.
Yes.
To push this energy around for a specific reason.
And these were civilizations that were around long before we had what our, modern science tells us.
Modern medicine,
modern medicine. And I'm not against modern medicine by any means.
No, you need it.
They work hand in hand. If it's to work properly, they have to work hand in hand.
They work so well, so much better when it's together. I feel like Reiki and crystals and energy healing and all the work that I've done, because I live now today with no pain, and I should definitely still have pain. I mean, I have all this hardware in there. There should still definitely be pain. And
what about the rain? Does the rain affect you?
No, I mean, it's like, I collect my moon water, my rainwater.
Right, you're going to make the lunar water.
Make my lunar water. Oh my God, if it's raining, I'm out there with my jars like, yes, I'm going to get this, and pouring it over my crown. But all this energy healing stuff really fills in the gaps, because Western medicine just, they treat the symptoms, but they don't treat the root of the issue. And that's where energy healing can work really well to fill in those gaps. But also with depression and things like this, modern medicine hasn't been able to crack that code yet. It's like they can't.
They give you a pill. If you're happy, take a pill. If you're sad, take a pill. If you're anxious, take a pill.
If you talk to anybody who's taking these pills for these things, they are not, they're not like, oh, I'm living the dream, I'm great. They're not. They're still having effects from.
Now you have more side effects from the pill that you take, and it's affecting something else, and another thing.
Now they have side effects. So by bringing in energy healing, and guys, you can do this yourselves. You can, just if you ever get one, this is the one you get where you can you learn how to take your power back. And I mean this not to sell you books. I mean this because
I don't like to just sell books either.
This is not what it's about. This one will help you on this path and help you fill in those gaps, help you heal yourself and take your power back. That was the thing when I went through all these different, doctors and all these different medications, is they really take your power away. They really make you feel like you're not capable of healing yourself unless you have the doctor, doing it for you. Or like when you have a baby, and you go into a hospital and you're delivering a child, you can't deliver unless the doctor's there. And I'm like, women have been delivering babies.
I would have died.
Before we had doctors, in fact, men weren't even allowed near women when we were delivering babies back in the day, right? It was, you had your, midwives, or you had, auntie or grandma or the local midwife,
Yeah.
or, whoever was the one that was just happened to be really good at that, right? The blessed one. And I know modern medicine, there are advantages, and, women die in childbirth, but women still die in childbirth. I mean, even with
Yeah.
all
Is the book
this amazing stuff.
available in Australia?
My book is
Like
available
Amazon?
in Australia. Yes, Amazon. I think it's Amazon everywhere, right? Isn't Amazon everywhere around the world?
It is.
Yeah, pretty much.
Amazon.ca.
They've got it in India. I know I have followers in India. They've ordered it on Amazon there. It's anywhere that has Amazon, you can get it.
Oh my God, there
Any
is so many.
local bookstores, you have to go in, you have to ask them, if you like, if you have a physical bookstore you're shopping, you do, like, some of them you'll have Barnes and Noble, I know, keeps it in stock, but a lot of them you'll go in and you'll just have to tell them, like, I'm trying to find this book, and then they can order it for you. And I don't know how, I don't think it takes that long, a couple.
No, I know. I've done that in Barnes and Noble. I mean, I've gone in and say, hey, you don't have like Joni's books, and I was helping her to get the books in there too. I'm like, you don't have this book. Can you get these books? And then all of a sudden
Then hop to it there, Dave.
Yeah.
Dave says, I still have time this afternoon because we're going to bed. He's just getting up. Get you.
Yeah.
Moving to it.
I know. The time differences is so funny. Now she's 3 hours behind.
She's in Georgetown.
So yeah, she's in Georgetown. Yeah.
I sort of relate time zones to people. And George, I had a show with a very crazy man, adorable George, in California. An amazing wife. He's also a Reiki master, and he's level 1, I think, now. But I always used to say California time was Georgetown.
Georgetown. So I'm on Georgetown too. Then
You're in Georgetown.
Yes, you're on Georgetown.
That's an George is an
Can I
interesting.
get an Athena time? Can I get an Athena time? Do we have
Okay, we'll put you in Athena. Athena and George. Oh, excuse me, but Athena time is goddess time. So like,
Actually, there's goddess time. Well, and George, George is, and aren't there so many Greeks named George, right? There's like so many Greeks named George.
You ought to go.
It's Greek time now. See, I just
The Greeks. All right.
Okay.
We've gone to the
Gods
Greeks.
and goddesses. Oh Lord, if George hears this, I'll never hear the end of it. Oh, he's the god of donuts. Sprinkles donuts.
God of donuts.
Yes.
Yeah,
Is he actually Greek though? No, I'm just like
No.
Choplin?
He's Italian.
Choplin?
He's Italian.
He's Italian.
Is that Italian?
He's
Choplin?
Italian. He's Italian. I don't know if there's Italian in his genes.
I don't know. I'm finishing Italian. I'm a Finnish walk. My mom's 100% Finnish. My dad's my mom's Italian. My dad's Finnish. So I look like my dad. I act like my mom.
Oh, and then there's a bit of you sprinkled in there too, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Sprinkled?
Yeah.
It's more like the parents are a sprinkling,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so getting back to you, what's your favorite crystal and why?
Oh, I know. I love this question. My favorite crystal. Why do I have to choose? I always say, right?
Just like asking which is your favorite child.
I can answer that.
I can't actually, there is.
Which is your favorite? Okay, let's put it. Which is your favorite crystal for the moment?
So for the moment, and for the one that I have probably the most of in terms of like big crystals would be, my amethysts, because I have loads of, beautiful amethyst stones, and my husband buys these for me. It went from like, why are you buying all these rocks, to let me buy you these like big giant, are we going to show off crystals? She's getting a crystal. She's going to show me. So we now I have all these giant, what'd you get there? Did you find a big
Mama D likes raw crystals.
Oh, gorgeous.
Somebody found this and said, I'm about to throw this out. I found it in a garage sale or something. It's a rock. Do you want it? I was like, yeah, give me any rocks. Never throw a rock out. And I got this. And I was like, no, you're not showing that. No, that's my baby.
Yes. My goodness. I can't believe somebody would throw that out. I should start going to garage sales. Oh my goodness.
I know. You never know what you're going to find. Honestly.
I know. I mean, I have found some, in very random places too. I found, I got one of these, this guy, at like one of these like little home goods stores. I think it was like,
wow, that's beautiful.
$6. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that's amazing. Yeah. So of course, I got
antique shops or secondhand stores or whatever.
Yes. you'll find some real treasures in there sometimes. And then it's really cool. Some people are like, they get a little wary, like, oh, it belonged to somebody else. Well, look, okay, crystals have, let me tell you, they belong to everybody else because they are way older than we are. Way older than we are. The oldest crystal is like 4 billion years old. It predates the earliest fossil. It predates everything. So crystals have been around a long time. Chances are when you pick up a crystal, somebody else had that before you did.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Unless you're digging it out from the ground.
Unless you're pulling it from the earth yourself, right?
Exactly. Yes. There is one place I would like to go. I want to go to Herkimer, New York.
Oh,
I want to mine my own Herkimer diamond. I have a couple. I actually have a bracelet that was made for me, and it's got a tiny little Herkimer diamond, and I have one. But I think that is that's my dream. I want to go to Herkimer, New York, and mine my own Herkimer diamond.
Do they have mines there where you can go?
In Herkimer, New York? Yes, there is a diamond mine that you can go, and you pay I can't remember what the price was. I looked a few years back, and we'll say it's $100 for the day. Everything you find, you keep. See, look at the look on her face.
This is
it's not too far from me. You can come stay here. We'll all go. You got to come down.
Yes, girls trip. Yeah.
Let me get my passport ready and
we'll sneak you over the border.
It's okay.
Shove me in the trunk.
Right. Yeah. You're going for it.
I have a few police officer friends down there. If they want to catch me, I'd be like, okay, I'm going down to.
It's fine. You can give me a ride back.
I know you're trying to get your Canadian citizenship.
Yes, I am working on it. So my grandfather was Canadian. I have a lot of different backgrounds here, but my grandfather, one of the ones that came to visit me, Canadian, Scottish background, but Canadian, and he served in World War II in the Canadian Army. But what was funny is that they lived on just over the border in Canada, above Minnesota. So Minnesota was like Minnesota is like their border there. And the local hospital, when my great grandmother was in labor, the local hospital had burned down. They had a fire in their town. So the nearest hospital was stateside here in US. Mm-hmm. And so when my great grandmother went into labor, they had to drive across the border to have him delivered in the hospital, here in the US. But, US law, when you're born here, you're American, done. Yeah. But of course, she delivered him and then they went right back home. So when it came time to serve in the Army for Canada, he had to get a special release. Mm-hmm. No, because he was Canadian, through and through. He had to get a release from the U.S. government, releasing him to allow him to serve in the Canadian Army. Wow. Mm-hmm. So it's so interesting.
I'm sorry, but all that stuff is kind of inattentive because, if you want to fight for a country, it's not like, I'm sorry, but it's not like I'm going to go fight for Russia. It's too far away. It's just across the line. You're crossing the street, too. Seriously.
And you crossed the street to be born and then you went right back. So, it's kind of, I get the whole, if you're born here, you're American, but then I also kind of feel like, well, are we really? Because, he definitely was not. So now we have to do a little extra paperwork for me to get my own Canadian citizenship, because now we've got this whole weird, but we need to cross-reference the letter here and the letter there. And
got this I and cross this T. Yeah. So it was either Ontario or Manitoba.
Sorry?
The province was either Ontario or Manitoba, just above Minnesota.
I think it's the Manitoba one. I have to ask my mom. I should really know this, but I
gotta say, when we were talking about crystals and stuff, and I have a pile of them over here, and I picked up my pendulum is jade, and I've been just holding this, right, because I love jade so much. But as I'm holding this thing is vibrating like crazy. You have no idea. I'm just like, oh my God, and it's now saying no.
I love to use jade when, connecting with our ancestors and our loved ones. So that's so cool that it's vibrating while we're talking about,
And
love.
that's Mother Earth. That's holding my
Oh,
chain.
how beautiful. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, I love that. I haven't seen that before.
Yeah,
So
it's
beautiful.
unreal, and it's just shaking like so insanely.
So what's the message you're getting there? Is my grandpa saying, yes, get your citizenship? Or was he just agreeing to? Yeah.
Actually, right? Do you want her to get her citizenship? Right, and it's going in a circle, which is usually yes for me. So it is going in a circle. Now it stopped. And it's like ready for the next question. This thing will stop dead. It's
So
like
what
it'll
it
just
feels
go.
like, it does. It just stops. Your question's done. I answered. I'm done. Yeah, because I feel like, well, that would be like his legacy for me because I didn't get to know him. I really don't have anything from him. And so that would be like, something that I would get to inherit from my grandfather. And that's really like the only thing that I would have. So
Right.
wonderful.
I love that. I love that.
From agates just lying on the ground. Oh my God, that's beautiful.
So Dave is going to be doing a lot of mailings.
Yeah.
But he still owes us pictures too.
Beautiful. And where does he live?
Australia.
Oh, in Australia. Oh, beautiful. So I know over here in California, I believe there's quite a bit of agate there too in the mountains, in the Santa Monica Mountains. My son is always finding quartz. We have loads of quartz here. I mean, he finds me, I would get up and show you, but then it's weird because I'm walking away from the computer. But he has these big giant pieces of quartz that he'll dig for. And he did this when he was small. He wants to be a paleontologist. So he's really into digging and being in the earth. And he knows that I love crystals. So every time he finds something, he did this like little camp with, not even a camp. It was just like with one of these mentors that like run a sports camp for kids. And he didn't want to do the sports. He wanted to do the hiking and the digging. So this guy would go and take a group of kids and I bought him a little like tool, right? And they would go and this guy would teach them about what they were finding, our natural raw crystals that are here in the earth. Like you don't always have to go into a crystal shop. And what people can do is look up what natural crystals are native to your area and look at some pictures online and then just go take a walk into the dirt, right? Like, go for that hike. I mean, it's so beautiful to do that anyway, connect with our Mother Earth and ground ourselves. Like we have all this energy, right? We're these like electrical beings and, the Mother Earth is like our grounding energy. This is what keeps us from like going far out there. She centers us, grounds us, just like when you put in a plug in the socket, right? There's a grounding one and then there's the live. And so, look up what natural stones are in your area. I mean, some people, there was someone who had sent me a picture. He had found a natural citrine in his backyard. He lived in Georgia. And he's like, yeah, I just found this thing in the backyard and I don't know what it is. And, sent me a picture. You found raw citrine just like chilling on your backyard. Like, wow, can I come?
That's awesome. That's
awesome. Can we come dig in your backyard?
I have some citrine rings too. I get like, because garnet, the red garnet is my birthstone. So I have like two big citrines and a garnet in the center, but it depends. And I'll wear these different things depending on where I'm going, what I'm doing.
Where you're going and
what
what
energy I'm going to be around.
Gravitating towards. Yeah, absolutely. Because they help support us in, things that we need. You need some confidence. You're going to grab that citrine. You need that to like move forward.
Even like this, the hematite ring, when the hematite ring gets full, it breaks.
It breaks.
It just broke. And this one, I just got this one. I was looking too. I was like looking all over the place trying to find one. And then they had a fair pretty much right across the street from my house. And there they were. And I'm like, yay. I mean, it's like,
divine timing. Thank you, Angel.
No, it was exactly. And I was looking for one before. And I'm like, because I just knew. I was going to need it.
What do you do with your broken crystals? Everybody always asks me what to do with broken crystals. So what do you do with yours?
The hematite ring shattered into a million pieces, and I was away, so it was just gone. I did save one little chunk, but it's full of negative energy, so I don't really want to keep it anyway.
So I like to add them back to the earth. Like I like to, or put them, give them to a plant, because then they also, that grounding energy, Mother Earth is kind of, taking that back, transmuting, cleansing, and, releasing that so that it can transmute and heal. And, because the crystal, it served its purpose, right? But like I said, they're older than us, and those shattered pieces will be around long after we're not even here anymore, right?
Yeah.
So true. That's so true.
It's beautiful for the earth to cleanse them, and then they'll be reborn again, right? Like somebody maybe will come across one of those little pieces. I don't know how many rocks I've buried, crystals that I've buried, out, because I'm like, oh, this one is so loaded with negative energy, and I don't even want to work with this anymore, even with all my Reiki and all of my, like, sometimes there's just too much of that emotional attachment to something. And it's better for me to give it back to Mother Earth, or if it's broken, give it back to her, let her do her magic on those.
And she does. And she does it well.
And she does. Yeah.
We're actually a couple minutes over already. Yep. I hope that's okay with you. But again, all these things, you have these meanings for so many stones in here, mantras and rituals and meditations and sounds, and you name it. This is just it. It is everything that you need to have this Bible with you for everything. Hi, Keith.
Okay, tell me, I've had this drawing to tiger's eye lately. So tell me about tiger's eye.
Well, so that's wonderful. You're getting that tiger's eye, and that also has a very masculine energy. Tiger is definitely the more masculine, and it works with our solar plexus as well as our sacral chakras. So maybe there's something you're going through. You're drawing on that strength. Yeah, look at these beauties. You need that strength. So not sure what you're going through in life, but maybe there's something not so much, and not getting that it would be so much confidence that you would need, so much as just that personal strength to get through whatever it is,
And I learned a new one too, because I've always said malachite. When people say, because I'm in the paranormal field, and to protect people from EMF, I've always said malachite. But then you had in the book, I learned this new thing that shungite.
I can't believe you haven't heard of shungite. Oh my goodness. Shungite is so fantastic for EMFs too. I had these two bamboo plants, right? They were in like these yin yang vases. And I had a Wi-Fi tower next to one of them. And then the other one, and they were about, you can't see my hands. They were about 6 feet and one of them just started like yellowing and dying and just looking terrible. And I was like, oh my God, what is going on? And then I realized there's a Wi-Fi tower next to that. I said, okay, let's do an experiment now. I want to see, what the difference is here. So I cut off the dead parts where this thing was like, and I put a big shungite plate under where the plant was. And the other one, I was like, I left it there because this is my control, my control, right? So I'm like, okay, we're going to let this one stay here, and we're going to see what happens. And then this plant started to do better with the shungite. I thought, okay, you know what? I still have to keep trying because I don't know if I'm buying it. So I was like, let's swap the plants. Let's put the other one next to the Wi-Fi tower and keep, the one that was wilting. Let's separate him now from this Wi-Fi tower, but I'll keep him with the shungite. And let's put the one that was healthy. Not that I want to hurt my plant, but I just want to know, what's happening to my body, right? If this is happening to my plant, what's happening to me? So then I had this, my healthy plant started to wilt and started to look like, yellowy and crap. And I was like, and he was awesome over there, or she, whichever you don't want to say, was amazing over here. But as soon as I put it next to that tower, it started to wilt and like die. So I'm like, okay, that's it. And after that, I was like, I've got my shungite plates all over the place, like under all my towers. I keep them by the computers. They help absorb that EMF and block it from you. Tourmaline also works really well for EMF energy as well.
Yeah, I did know that one, but usually when someone says, "What can I get for EMF?" and I just say malachite.
Oh, and malachite. I mean, malachite was like my first favorite before I even knew what was going on, because malachite was it was this gorgeous green color. You cannot mistake malachite for anything else. There is no way to confuse that stone with anything else. Like, yes, it's green, but with those black lines, I mean, it's almost like, kind of like those tiger eyes, but it's like green in the back. They're so beautiful and so wonderful for that heart healing. So wonderful for protection. So you're working with paranormal, so wonderful for protection, guarding that person's energy, but also wonderful for going back for working with, like, if you're dealing with like any kind of emotional traumas. This one is wonderful to go back and, help yourself heal in your heart center. And then shungite is amazing for your water. The czars of Russia, actually, that's how they filtered their water. They originated over there in that part of the world, and they would take this raw shungite and put it in their water, because it's really, like, you've got that carbon. What do you think our water filters are made of? Carbon and shungite. Like, this is what they're doing to cleanse our water. So it's wonderful. But I believe, though, you would want to have like the raw shungite if you want to use it for a water filter. The polished, you're already, it's kind of like smoothing out
in there,
to draw out all those toxins. So definitely you want to use the raw one. But yeah, shungite is one of those amazing. It's a softer stone, so if you have it for jewelry or anything like that, it does break more often. But they make also little shungite like circles, like little tabs now.
Because I even just went on Amazon.
Like, these things, like I always have like a sticker, and they have pieces. I'm moving out of frame. They have these pieces of shungite and tourmaline and all these little bits of crystal, actually. And along with 24 karat, mine happens to have like a layer of 24 karat gold. They're not that expensive. It's not a lot. And that guards your, your head, like when you're talking on your phone. And one thing that was really cool, these, you can test it, those wireless chargers. People put phones on their wireless chargers now. Well, when I got these stickers and I put them on everybody's phone, my husband's phone, my kid's phone, I'm like, nope, everybody has to have one. Like, I don't want all this stuff going into your brain. We don't use 5G. I had them turn that off. We just use like the 4G. And then I use these stickers. And when my husband tried to charge his phone, the sticker, he couldn't charge it through the sticker. He was like, it's blocking my connection.
So it's really working.
Yeah, it's also blocking that connection to your brain. So
you get it on Amazon.
It was like,
everything's on Amazon.
Everything's on Amazon, right? It was like $20, and I got like a pack of 3 or something. They were not. This one I think was. I mean, they change all the time. I mean, even it doesn't have the brand on there. It was EMF, Wi-Fi protection, gold 24 karat. It has crystal stuff in there too. They're so incredible.
I did see a bunch of stuff, that way, and it's pretty and whatnot on Amazon, different things that you can get. I was like, man, Amazon does have everything. I like, go Amazon. I get everything through
Make
Amazon.
It pretty too, right? Like, just because it's pretty doesn't mean it has to taste bad or look bad or smell bad. I mean, there's, keeping things pretty around us, that raises your vibration too, right? Because you feel better and you're gravitating towards it. So, it's like with rituals or your tools, make them pretty, make them fun. If it's fun and it's beautiful, you're going to feel a lot more attracted to it, and you're going to want to keep practicing it, So, any of the rituals that you're doing or techniques or however method, whatever label you want to put on that, when you make it fun, you're a lot more likely to do it. When you're doing moon rituals, and I love complex best ones. Don't get me wrong. I bring in my moon water. I bring in my crystals. I have all my drawing, my little signals, all these things. But sometimes you're tired, and sometimes, your energy is not quite there. And, I don't like to put pressure on myself. Like, oh, it's the full moon. I gotta go out there. I gotta do the burning ritual. I gotta set out my crystals. I gotta do and sometimes you're tired, and you know what? That's okay too. Like, even sometimes
Again, that's for a reason.
it's for a reason. You have to rest. So even just doing a small little thing, even those small little rituals can be so powerful for us. So, I always tell me, don't put so much pressure on yourself, because I do that enough as it is.
Yeah, you do.
Tired. So
Awesome.
yeah.
But I'm gonna, I don't want to keep you too long here. I really don't. But I could talk to you for hours and hours and hours. I really could.
Going. Can we do the girls' trip and do our rock digging?
Yeah. There are other places too that do that kind of stuff. And then then we could take your son. We can take him dinosaur bones.
There's actually my cousin was just telling me there's a museum in Canada in I think it's in Albany, though. I think it's on the other side from you, Mama D. But it's some like really incredible dinosaur museum. So I was thinking actually maybe I'll just do like a weekend trip with him.
They're digging out by you so much now. There's a show out now about dinosaur people digging for dinosaur bones. And they're finding these big T-Rex. If you get a T-Rex, that's the top of the pay grade for these dinosaurs. This is really cool, but they find a lot of Tyrannosaurus Rexes and whatnots. And I'm just like, this is like awesome. And the kids are getting all into it. And they're like, oh, well, this is this bone and that bone. To me, it looks like a rock. I'd be like, if I was tromping through the desert, I'd think these were just rocks, But oh no, that's so much, tracheal bone, something. It's like, oh,
yeah. Okay. My son knows what these are. It's like amazing. Yeah. Wow, I'm like, you're so cool. Like this is
that is super cool. I love that.
So yeah, good for and he's wanted to do this since he was like really little, like 2 years old, 3 years old. I want to be a paleontologist, Mom. I'm like, okay,
love it. I love it.
Go.
There's so much cool stuff in the earth,
There is. And, not everything is about, becoming a doctor, becoming a lawyer, becoming a movie star, or making all this money like that. When you do what you do really well, that will come to you. You'll be successful in whatever you do. If you love it and you do it well, it will come to you. You'll be that expert, right, in your field. So, I told my son the same thing. Don't worry about all that stuff. Like, just do what you love because, this is your life. You have to, if you don't love it, what is even the point, And that's with Reiki, what I do now. If I didn't love it, I wouldn't do it. I don't do it because I need money. I don't do this. I don't teach Reiki because I need to make a certain amount this month. I don't. Like, I'm thank you, angels. I am blessed that I don't need that, but it's about, bringing people on this journey. It's about, showing them a path that they can, then go on.
The world needs this. The world all needs this.
The world, yes. And it's, starting one person at a time. Healing starts within, but it ripples out, to everyone else. And because we're all connected on this vibrational level, what I do helps you, what you do helps, the next person or helps me. And, we can work together. And I would love to see our world help each other a little bit more and work together a little bit more. And, and I don't mean that in some hippie way. I mean, I would just love to see a lot.
It's okay. We'll keep your hippie ways. It's okay.
Let's see more love, right? Like, where is the show me the love?
It's money. When everything is all over and done with the COVID and the restrictions and everything, I'm all stand out on the street corner with a big old sign, free hugs.
Free hugs.
We had your heart crystals and
I know we had a Reiki. Well, Nadine, who was on here earlier, she was saying hi. She had joined me at the beach. I've been doing in-person events at the beach because we're out, we're in the open, and it's just kind of the nature of how I am. So when everybody showed up, I'm like, do you do hugs? Are you doing hugs?
I know. Can we do hugs?
You're like, yes, and it's like
I'm a big hugger. I'm a hugger.
I'm a hugger. I just, I love those big hugs. And it was so beautiful to like finally, connect with people in person. I mean, I love that we have the technology to do this, with our Zooms and our, YouTube lives and Facebooks. And this is such a gift, because if we didn't, we probably would have all like gone, we'd all be in padded rooms by now, right? Or all of our homes would have padding around the walls. So because we have this, so I'm grateful that we do, and we get to connect, like I get to connect with you. Like this is so amazing.
I know. I'm so grateful to meet you. I really am.
Grateful to me. I'm so like this. I feel like I'm home over here. Like you guys are.
You got a home. Anytime you want to come over here, you just knock on the door and we let you in.
Yeah.
Like, Gina, Mommy, I got something. I want to talk. Okay.
I just wanted to pop in and say hi. Can we talk about, because you're doing crystals of the week, so maybe we'll just like pop in.
Hey,
like,
if you want to come on every single Thursday for the first 10 minutes of the show, you're more than welcome. We'll pick you can pick the crystal and you can talk about it. We just want to learn about a different crystal a week now. I'm going to do it too.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So open invitations for you.
I don't want to rain in on your parade. You guys have
no. I just want a crystal. I want people to learn about crystals and who better to learn it from. I mean, if you were wanted to do that, I would certainly do that.
Cool. All right. Cool. Let's do that. That'll be fun.
Let's do that. All right, we'll do that.
We'll do that. We'll do this. We'll figure it out. Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. You hang with us before when I have to end the show anyway. So I gotta
Oh yes, we're going long.
And what are you doing next Tuesday night? Something you've got something going on?
Okay. For me, next Tuesday night. Next Tuesday morning, I'm going to be
morning.
Like, what am I doing? I know I have something. I am doing a show. It's a TV show. Yeah, here, let me pull this up for him. It's on, what is this called? KP Media TV. So I don't know what the link is. I wasn't able to get the link from him, but it's called Thoughts of the Awoken. And it's a live TV broadcast show on KP Media TV Live. And so I think we're going to go live at 10 a.m. Pacific next week on Tuesday. And it's, Thoughts of the Awoken. It's all about, spiritual thinking and spiritual thoughts. And I don't really know. His name is Eddie. He's amazing. He's like such a gorgeous person, amazing soul that we connected with. And he created this show. So I don't know what he's going to be asking me about, but I'm
whatever
sure
it is, it's meant to be.
I am grateful to be able to do that and share with more beautiful people. So we'll see how that goes. That's next.
Well, congratulations. That is awesome. Well, we're going to be seeing you a lot more often, apparently. So this is going to be great. Right. And you guys, if you want to listen to, if you're local in Pennsylvania, and Bob and I are going to be doing a radio show, Rail Radio, on FM 105. Real radio that you can listen to in your car, on your stereo. Right? We're doing an interview at 8 to 9. I believe it is 8 to 9. 2 to 9 to 10 or 8 to 9. I think it's 8 to 9. Saturday night, we have to go to a casino, Mohegan Sun.
They have to.
That's that's where their studio is. So we have to go there to do our interview. We're going to be talking about paranormal stuff. So if you wanted to hear that, you can tune in to FM 105 on Saturday night. Watch Athena on next Tuesday morning or late morning, but wherever you are. I don't know where you are. We have listeners all over the place, but
find her on Facebook. Follow her.
On there too.
We'll get that. We'll get that
where you can see the recording if you can't catch the live. So that's the beauty of all this stuff. Is it's all there for us to access after.
Exactly.
Yep. My ears are ringing. But I gotta say goodnight. We gotta say goodnight, and we thank you guys for watching. Please share the video. Please get the book. You're gonna love me for it. I'm telling you. And I'll take all the thank yous.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All Gina's fault. Good, bad, or otherwise.
I am so grateful to have met you, ladies. Thank you so much for
It was
bringing
our
me
pleasure.
on here. Your Fox Den show has been so fabulous. Thank you.
Thank
Such a
you.
blessing to
Thank
meet you
you.
both. Thank
All
you.
right. Good night, everybody.
Thank you again for joining us for another episode in the Fox Den. We're here every Thursday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you a variety of guests, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and our anchor venues. We would love it if you would go to our YouTube channel, The Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, and please subscribe, share, and definitely hit the notification button to never miss a show. We'll see you all next week, and subscribers, watch for our pop-up shows as well.